This week we go back to the world of Amazon-only ukuleles. Keep watching. Yes, welcome back to GotAUkulele Review Day. As ever, this is the summary video review to accompany the full written review, which you'll find linked below. Also down in that link section are the sort of places where you can donate to help keep this site going. That's what the thank yous are running across the bottom of the screen every week. These are the people who've kindly donated to keep this site going, because I can't do this without funds coming in, because I don't get paid by the brands or the stores to do this. And you can also help me out, as I say every week, by subscribing to the channel. Really would like to get that subscriber count higher so more people get to see these videos, so that would be appreciated too. Okay, the Amazon-only ukulele reviews. I regularly say that I don't recommend people buy ukuleles from Amazon due to their lack of setup, and you should buy from a real trusted ukulele store if you want reliable service. But the fact remains that a vast number of people do buy from Amazon, and it would be wrong for this review channel to ignore those instruments. So every so often I do dip back in and have a look. Occasionally you get a little gem. More often than not, they're pretty lousy. This one is the Caramel Acacia Koa ukulele kit. I have reviewed an instrument from Caramel before. It didn't do too well. This one caught my eye because of a low price, which we'll come on to, but there we are. Acacia Koa ukulele kit, available in this scale, which is soprano, also in concert and also in tenor. First gripe, Acacia Koa. I would wager the value of my house on the fact that this laminate wood, or this outer veneer, has never been anywhere near Hawaii. Koa is the name that you give to acacia when it's grown in Hawaii. It costs more money. I suspect this is just regular acacia, but they've used that word Koa in capital letters in the product description to try and make out that it's something that it isn't. Okay, laminate instrument though, so does it really matter? Bit of stripe on the top here. What I would say though is everything else is quite plain, particularly the sides. Compared to the product description images on the Amazon listing, I think it looks a little bit bland, but it's inoffensive, isn't it? I mean, simple little stripy instrument. The bridge is a tie bar style made of rosewood. To be fair to Caramel, that is extremely tidily finished, very, very neat and tidy and smooth. What I don't like is such large bridges with wings on them on a soprano. They just look wrong. Arguably, they can probably affect the resonance of the body. They're just far too big. There we are, fitted with a straight top plastic saddle. There's no other decoration whatsoever, and if you're going to make your instrument for laminate that's this thick, you might want to think about binding, because that just looks ugly. The finishing is a satin finish, in parts smooth, but then occasionally you rub your hand over it and go, oh, that's rough, and that's smooth, and that's rough. The edges of the top and back are severe to the point of them being sharp. And, you know, you're really going to get a mark in the arm from this one. These need to be chamfered off. And there are some little scruffy marks and chips and gouges in the wood, a little bit scruffy. Inside though, very tidy, thin braces, notch lining, no mess that I can see, but that top wood is really thick, as I say. So a thick old top laminate instrument, some shoddy finishing, quite plain to look at down the sides, but inoffensive, and actually feels pretty well put together, and it's tidy inside as well. The neck wood is not specified, no idea what it is, possibly a Kume, something like that, NATO, something cheap. Joints in the usual places, and tapers down to a very typical Far Eastern rounded broom handle nut, and 35mm at the nut, 27G2A, very, very generic. Topped with more rosewood, with a lot of colour variation in it. Remember what I say about that though these days. It does need an oil though. It's very dry down this end, and some of the polish still needs to be buffed out. The grain marks in that, so that's quite scruffy. Surprisingly, edge bound to hide the fret ends. As you can see, edge bound in black. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to the body, 13, 14, 15 in total. But despite edge binding it, they're sharp. How do you do that? How do you put edge binding on an instrument and still have sharp frets? Okay, position dots face out at 5, 7, 10, 12th and 15th, and they are repeated with dots on the side. The nut actually looks like bone, whereas the saddle looks like plastic. I could be wrong on both of those, but they don't specify. But what I will say about nut and saddle on this one, and I'm well aware that I may have got a good one, the setup is absolutely bang on. I wouldn't change that saddle, and I wouldn't change that nut height at all. Really good. Think about that Kala I reviewed last week, or other instruments I've reviewed that are in the Amazon only stable. They're usually pretty woeful on the setup. I got a good one here. You may not. This is the problem with Amazon. It's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? You don't know what you're getting. But to fair play, credit where credit's due. Setup on this one, not too bad. The headstock, Canalea-esque shaping, faced in more of the Acacia, but Acacia that's so plain, I wonder whether it's worth it. The caramel logo is laser etched. There are also some chips and gouges around the some of the tuner posts here, which are annoying. So a lot of scruffiness going on here. The tuners are black and gold, attractive, vintage buttons. But look, this is a soprano. They look like ears. They're far too big. And we'll come on to another gripe I've got with those in a moment. They're far too big. They do work okay. Comes with a set of unnamed strings, but I think they are fluorocarbon. A couple of strap buttons. A half-decent padded gig bag compared to some of those cloth bags you get with some of these brands. And the now ubiquitous little goodie bag you get. So you get in there a clip-on tuner, you get in there a spare set of strings, you get some picks, okay, you get a cleaning cloth, you get a strap. So everything you need, really. Problem with Amazon reviews also, the pricing is always dynamic. It changes from one day to the next. They go in and out of stock, they appear, they disappear. At the time of this review in the UK, these are just a shade under £45. So it's not a lot of money, is it? It's absolute beginner money, and in with a lot of competition at that price point, but 45 quid, not a lot of money, so good value for money. All the extras you need. Beginner is who it's aimed at. It's really light, 455 grams, but it's neck heavy. That's terrible. That's heavy tuners on a small instrument. It's just constantly dipping this way. That's unacceptable to me for a soprano. That's just not nice to hold. Okay, they're assuming you're going to be playing with the strap, which would hide that fact, but that ain't right. That ain't right. There we are. Okay, let's get into it. I've got to get it tuned up. I've got to work my damn tuner. So all in all, some scruffy finishing, bit bland on some of the looks. Don't like the bridge, don't like the sharp fret ends. Setup's good, scruffy finishing, but inoffensive. Not a lot of money, loads of extras come with it. Thick top though, which worries me. So we will see what's going to happen there with projection. You're already hearing the tone, but I'll just come on to that in a moment. Volume. Alright. It has got a punch. It's not the loudest. Sustain though, surprisingly, the whole thing's vibrating against me. That's got quite a bit of sustain for a soprano. Okay. Yeah, okay, but you're hearing that tone. Incredibly thin. Very, very thin, almost brittle. That setup's very good, so I'm not hearing intonation issues, tuning issues. It's peppy, it's bouncy, it's jangly, it's what a soprano should sound like, but there's not a lot of range to the sound. Inoffensive though, again, as I say. A bit of echoey laminate tone to it. Strings are far too low tension for my taste as well. I've heard a lot worse. I've seen a lot worse for more money. So on the whole, it kind of makes a bit of sense. But I think you can get better for less money. Things like the Octopus Sopranos, I think, are better than this. They've just got a lot more depth to the tone, and their quality control seems to be better. This is not a howler, though. A lot of people prejudge when I'm looking at Amazon Instruments and say, he's going to hate that. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And if the scruffiness elements, which are minor, really, I mean, hard for me to even show you them, and it's not like it's got big gouges in the top. If they weren't there, the score would be up into the 8s on my reviews, which is the recommended category. It doesn't quite get there because some of the scruffiness is just too much for me. I don't like the ears. I don't like the big bridge. Sharp fret ends are a no-no. Neck heavy is a no-no. The volume, reasonable. Sustain, pretty good. Very, very thin, brittle tone. Maybe messing around with strings would give you a different flavour on that one, but then a 45 quid instrument becomes a 55 plus quid instrument. But as a beginner instrument, you would not be making a huge mistake. You get the bag, you get the extras, you get what you need. It's put together pretty decently, and it's inoffensive to look at. Not stellar, but not awful. So, you know, maybe things are looking up with some of the Amazon Instruments. I'd still recommend you go to a real ukulele dealer, though. This is the Caramel Acacia Koa ukulele kit in soprano, also available in concert through to tenor in soprano, just under £45. Not a total dog. There we are. Anyway, thank you for watching and your continued support. I don't think I've got much more time off coming up. I may have a week off in a couple of weeks' time. I think I'm supposed to be somewhere else. But yeah, I've got reviews booked in now until pretty much the end of July. So loads of stuff downstairs that I've got to get through and talk to you about. Looking forward to those. Enjoy your week ahead. Stay safe. Look after each other. Take care. And thanks for watching. See you all very soon. Bye-bye.